Hey friends! So today I'm going to see what I can do with this page spread. I talked about this in my last video, how I tried to make it look a little bit more cohesive by using the same colors on each page. And so I'm going to take it in the other room and get some paint on it and see what I can do about making it look a little bit more like one unit. Okay, so it's all painted up and it needs a little bit of a trim there, but what my biggest kind of struggle with this type of journal that's this size, the average TN size, I think it's 4 by 8, is finding images that will fit on there kind of nicely. So I went through my stash to see what I had, and I was amazed at how many pieces I had that were kind of this long vintage size. So thought I'd pull a few things out. Like that's a little bit too big. I don't want to cut her feet off. And I usually pick images that are they kind of, go along with my mood at the time. Because I don't do a lot of writing in my journals. I kind of do visual kind of mood boards, but visual collages. That's kind of how I work. So I look through my stash to see what I have that I like that for some reason. Yeah, here's that one. She looks familiar. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, look at him. But the bright ones are the ones that I'm kind of gravitating to right now. Yeah, some of these are a little bit big for this, but I wanted to just kind of show you my thought processes of how I choose images. And like I said, this one's kind of a tough size. I'm going for bright. I'm feeling these kind of brighter. So I don't think that. I'm not feeling the complete vintage. If I were to cut her off, it wouldn't be a big deal. She's already cut off at the bottom. I like that. Let's see. I don't have to go vintage on both sides, but she feels so summery. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with that. try to build up around her. So this is something I've been doing. It's masking tape that I paint over. These are just some little bits and snippets, and I thought maybe it might make it a little bit too busy. This thing's starting to get pretty busy with all this, all these splotchy things, circular things going around the page. But she could work on either or. See, the green kind of comes up in there, and then some of this yellow. Yeah. Now I need to come up with something on this side. I'm just going to see if this black and white one. So I could do that. This side. Or this down the middle. One of the things I like to do nowadays is get an image on there and then kind of clip it on there and see what I think. See if it'll grow on me. Or at least keep it in place. And then I have some florals. This is one thing that's an option also, is I'll do these little collages. They're ready-made. That one's kind of small for that. But sometimes I think I need to make some longer ones for this journal. For this size journal. Just make some kind of bigger ones and then just kind of put them on there. They're kind of fun to do in front of the TV. And then one of the things I like to do also is grab some flowers. These are my larger ones. And I like to spread them across the middle. See if I can find one that's large enough to go across both. Kind of like that. That off there. So you have that going across there. It has a lot of the same colors. Put this over it or under it for a little contrast. That kind of thing. Kind of brings a lot of the colors. See, there's the blues and the pinks and the yellows. So that's an option. So I always have, I like to go, these are all just from scrapbook paper. I like to cut them ahead of time. If you've been following me for a while, you already know that, but if you're new, I thought I'd share that. So this background is really, really busy, but fun. I had a lot of fun with it, and that's the point. The point is, you know, if you're not having fun doing this, then, you know, you're kind of wasting your time as far as I'm concerned. So if doing the background is the fun part for me, and I have to keep my images and ephemera at a minimum, then that's fine. I'm fine with that. But I like those birds. And you know, you always have these pieces that, like, where is that going to go? How am I going to find a home for that, right? And sometimes you just have to try things out and see what you think. I think that's going to work. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue all this stuff down. And then maybe add smaller bits to see if I need to kind of, you know, pop things a little bit. So sometimes remembering the order of everything is the hardest part. So today I'm just going to use my glue stick. Try to keep the glue on my work surface to a minimum. So if you're interested, this is some paper that I bought from Hobby Lobby quite a while ago. I don't know if they still carry it or not. But I have a lot of fun with it. It's okay. Let's see if I can get this in there. I think sometimes doing it a little bit more like this works a little bit better for that. Because I'm always getting a wrinkle in there or like a space. It's just kind of irritating. There we go. I know this is all a little bit on the ready-made side, but you get you get the gist of this fussy cutting. I don't really need to. I almost wish I put this underneath here. I'm not sure. I'm going to pull this up while it's still wet and see if I want to put her underneath the flower. I don't know if there's that option, and that I want her underneath. That's not going to be the easiest thing to do, but I really like that flower. I just put lotion on my hands, so I'm kind of wondering if that's affecting the glue. Well, I like that. That's really super fun. Especially when you've had an image like that for years and you get it on a page and you give it a home instead of bouncing around in one of your containers. Yeah. That is a really busy background. So putting a lot of stuff on top of that, I think it really works. I don't know if I want to add too much. I could see if maybe some bits of this might make it too busy, but you never know. You always have to try. I feel like down here, a little something. This is just regular old hardware store 2-inch masking tape. I'm probably going to try to do a video of how I make it. I use the heck out of it. It's been a while. There's a lot of things I'm doing now that I did in the past that I'm getting back into. I don't know if I want something up here or not. I could try. Let's see. This is just from the dollar store, plastic cutting boards. And I just sliced this one up into a size that would accommodate the 2-inch tape. Let's see. It's kind of bringing that painted background to the forefront a little bit. I feel like I could put something there. Let's see. Maybe a word strip. That would be kind of fun. What do I have? How about past? Because this reminds me of my childhood. Something I would see advertised when I was growing up. There, I think that's enough. That's a lot of information, I guess you can say. Or I could, what about memories? Hold on, past. And then, yeah, I might have to put some new stickum on that. There you go. Okay, I'm happy. I'm going to have to put some stickum on those. But yeah, there you go. That was pretty quick if you think about it. And yeah, I get my images from magazines and vintage books from the thrift stores. So if you're interested in those things, I have a few ephemera packs in my shop that have these kinds of things in it. There's surprise packs at this point. I'm thinking about putting them back, taking pictures of all of them so you can see everything that you get and getting them away from being surprise packs. But there's 100 pieces in them. I think it's 100 pieces. They're really filled. 50 to 100. But anyway, they're really, really filled. So it's kind of daunting to take pictures of that much stuff. So sometimes I make surprise packs, but they're not selling as surprise packs right now. They used to, but for some reason, people want to see what they're buying a little bit more now, I guess, than they used to. So, yeah. So I'm popping back in because I realized when I was editing that I kind of missed an opportunity to point out some of the points that make this page work for me. And I thought, because you might not have access to some of these vintage images. Here there's so many ways that you can use something from a magazine, a current magazine. There's a lot of options out there. As far as these flowers are concerned, there's so many shops with beautiful floral digital downloads that you could use something like this for. And then you have the option of printing it out on clear sticker label paper and then having it kind of translucent on your work. So yeah, that's an option right there. And then some of the other things about this page that I kind of wanted to point out is how I made these two pages, I feel, work together a little bit better. And this image, sometimes I'll put things on and I kind of work from my gut, and I don't really think about what it is that's working when I'm doing these. So like I said, while I was editing, I kind of noticed that the yellow in these birds kind of brought that yellow up over into this area. And then I was kind of taking a look at how when I was putting this dictionary page, which a lot of my dictionary pages are this kind of yellowed look. But I do have a more current dictionary that I get pages out of once in a while. So it's a lot of black and white. And then you can see how, a lot of this black and white kind of comes over here and kind of balances that whole look, right? And so, and then I realized, even though this looks a little bit busy, it does kind of bring that background up. And if there's the black dots, they match that. There's the pink in there and, the greens. And the whole thing really balances really well, I felt. And I just, like I said, I wanted to kind of point out some of the features of this page spread that if you're using your ephemera and your supplies, which is what I really like to encourage people to do, is use what you have. You can make a lot out of what you already own, and then just kind of add bits and pieces inexpensively, as you go. And I love using up these small snippets of paper that I have I have a lot. Let's see, hold on. I have a container. So I have this container that I put the small bits in so that when I'm art journaling, you can see I've actually been getting through some of this, but I have a lot of scrapbook paper from memory keeping and just years of collecting it for my art journaling. And so I just like I said, I wanted to pop back in, kind of share a little bit more about, some of the features of this page spread that work. And so, yeah. Well, thanks again so much for stopping in. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I'd really appreciate that. If you have any questions, don't hesitate in asking in the comments. The link to my shop and to my blog and Instagram is down in the description box. So until next time, bye-bye.